I want to be able to respond to something that Judge Clouser said a few minutes ago, that he is running for his 6th term. Let me just make sure that we got this math right, because a 6th term means that you're just finishing your 5th term. Now, if I recount the terms of 4 years apiece, and that would mean that you're just finishing up your 20th year. I'm not trying to figure out how you get 18 out of 4. Some of your paraphernalia, some of your stuff talks about you started in '93, but the elections really for JP was '94. So is it 16 years, 18 years, or 20 years? I think that that's important. The other thing that's important is that this court has a duty, has a real duty to be fair to its citizens. And this judge has not been fair to many. He's talking about standing in front of a post office or standing in front of a grocery store and people come and saying, thank you for taking care of my child or whatever. I have got twice as many of those people who are calling me saying that this judge has not been treated our kids fairly. When you go over to Willow Ridge High School and arrest people against the law and put them in prison, or hold them in detention until somebody comes and pays money, that's not fair. And these people are crying for justice. They're crying for justice. And so I think that, first of all, I think that the level ought to stay where it is, but I think also this precinct is crying out for somebody who can change the circumstances for the people in that county. 20,000 infractions in this county alone, and 67% of them were African Americans, and the majority of African Americans live in that precinct. It suggests that he doesn't have any ideas. That's in the past.
Well,
We need to go forward into the future.
I'd like to address that or ask a question about that. Doesn't Judge Clouser simply react to cases that are brought to him by the police? I mean, he doesn't actually go out and make those arrests himself, does he?
Oh, yes, he does. Oh, yes, he did.
Okay, well,
Oh, yes, he did. He had court. He had court in a high school and was not allowed to do that. And he got slapped for it. That's, yes, he proactive in that area. Now, he's going to tell you that he was under whatever. I don't know what he's going to tell you, but I would say.
well, let's let him tell us.
Well, he can tell. He can tell you. What happened? What happened with Willow Ridge High School with all these students that took out of class and arrested them, and you were not able to do that?
First of all, let me address this. I'm running for my 6th term, okay?
I guess
Okay,
that's
who's in control here? Okay, I know you are much too skilled of a moderator to let this turn into a free fall, aren't you? Aren't you? Huh? Aren't you?
Seems to me you handled that really well, Judge Clouser. Sorry. You don't need me, Judge Clouser.
Okay, I'm running for my 6th term, all right? My 1st term, when I was elected, was cut short because of redistricting, all right? I don't know if some of you remember that, but it was cut short to 2 years because of redistricting, all right? So I'm running for my 6th term, and that's the reason it's not 20 years, that's the reason it's 18 years, okay? Now, I've never heard of anybody in Harris County, they have a truancy problem out of this world. Nobody runs against the judge and says it's his fault. This is ridiculous. That is so ridiculous to say. And then to say I go out and arrest people. Okay, I'm in the judiciary. There are 3 branches of government, all right? And the police department is in the executive branch. And I mean, that's common knowledge. Everybody should know that, all right? And judges don't go out and arrest people. The police department writes a ticket, charges somebody with an offense, and files it in the court, all right? And we interpret the law. The executive branch of government executes the law, okay, or enforces the law. All right, they file it in our court. We don't control who brings a ticket to our court. We don't send officers out. When they file it in the JP court, we must properly and legally dispose of the case, all right? And so we use a lot of alternative sentencing. He's referring to a situation where we had 40 kids at Willow Ridge High School who I placed on probation with the understanding that they would go to class. And they immediately started missing class. Oh, hold on a second here, let me get some more.
I'll talk while you refresh yourself.
I think you should second the next one. Answers to a minute.
They immediately started missing class, okay? And the truancy officers filed motions to revoke them. And I made a mistake. I didn't realize I had to get permission from Commissioner's Court to go over to the school. The school district said, well, we got too many of them. We can't get a bus to bring them. Would you come over to the school? I came over to the school. And I held hearings. And those I found in contempt of my orders. They were orders. I found them in contempt. And I sent the juveniles to the juvenile detention center for contempt. And the ones who were 17 years of age or older, adults in the eyes of the law, were sent to jail for contempt. Now, I was supposed to get permission from Commissioner's Court. I did not. I was ill-advised about that. All right, I made a mistake. The Commissioner on Judicial Conduct gave me a reprimand. Not a reprimand, gave me an admonishment, which is a very low punishment. Very low punishment, admonishment, okay? And that's what they did. It was just an admonishment. I made a mistake. Everybody makes a mistake, all right? Everybody makes a mistake.
Y'all, we're gonna give you each 1 minute. 1 minute. Korhan?
The bottom line on this one is that the judge made the decision that this is what he was going to do. Those young people who were underage, who were considered juveniles, were not given the opportunity to have their guardian or parent present. The law says that. Not only that, but the older ones that were of legal age were not given the opportunity to have legal representation. All right, that's just one issue. There are lots of issues wherein this judge has done some things that were beyond what the law requires, including filing a petition for his reelection and not getting appropriate number of.
No, we didn't ask you about that.
I'm telling you, that's part of.
That's not part of the answer to the question that was asked, so
A
we're
lot
getting
of
far
things that he
afield.
has done.
We're getting far afield, and I don't mean to cut you off, Tony.
Well, that's
but
fine. That's fine. So the bottom line is, it is time for a change, and our community in Precinct 2 realizes that. That's what we expect. That's what we're going to exact. Thank you very much.
Judge Clouser can get a minute to respond.
He wants to talk about somebody breaking the law. Is your council of elders a 501(c)(3)? Is your council of elders a 501(c)(3)? I'm asking you the question. Yes or no?
You figure it out.
Well, let me tell you something. If it is, and I know it is, you're operating your campaign headquarters, and you are operating your campaign out of that location.
No,
We
I'm
have
not.
pictures. You want to talk about somebody breaking the law?
No, I'm not.
All right. Any other questions?
I have no campaign headquarters. That's my 501(c)(3).
Sir, we have pictures of your posters and
I know.
campaign signs around there. That is
I know.
federal law. Now, you broke a federal law.